Boy, oh boy, Crick Buzz chatter. England in a world of pain. Adam Collins and former England skipper Michael Vaughan with you this evening on a day where Australia made it to 511 and then England, despite having a 177 run lead, just couldn't do it. They're 6 down, still 43 behind. They're going to lose tomorrow.
Yeah, you think so, unless I keep thinking Headingley 8-1. It was kind of similar, and there's an
true.
all-rounder, Ben Stokes, Ian Botham. Who's going to be Bob Willis? We'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping anyway. I think the last 2 days, Australia have given England a lesson in how to play Test cricket. You know, yesterday they were flamboyant, scored because England's bowling wasn't quite right. Then it was all right, and they dug in, and then they kind of had to fight through that last session. Got a bit of fortune because England dropped so many chances, and then today they played Test cricket the right way, but the pink ball game the right way. They batted for time, knowing that they wanted that pink ball later on with the twilight. England didn't quite get their tactics right, but you know, this England side are a side that I actually love watching. You know, they're enjoyable to watch, but I think they're a team that now Australia know exactly how to play against, particularly when they have the ball in hand. There was a couple of good balls today, but, you know, dangle the carrot, the big drive will come, just set an extra cover point goes back, all right, we'll bring him in, dangle the carrot, big drive, caught and bowled. Australia take a couple of wickets, and you know, when you see that, and we've been seeing that consistently for quite a while against the better sides, I think the better sides have worked out how to play against this England team.
Yeah, it does feel that way, doesn't it? That Australia came here and they kind of had a number of plans in place, and how England have combated Australia combating them hasn't been too crash hot. I mean, we probably should start by saying that Australia batted superbly their lower order today. They got Carey and Nisa early, which is exactly what England needed to do inside the first 40 minutes of play. But then the longest partnership of the Ashes so far, the longest, has involved Scott Boland. Scott Boland. Now, fair play to the guy. He's got a defence on him, but not an awful lot more than that. Let's be honest. Mitchell Starc made 77. The standard 75. It put so much scoreboard pressure on England, who had to field in the blazing hot Brisbane sun. They were knackered too.
Yeah, I mean, brilliant from Boland, but game awareness. You know, that's what Test cricket is, right? You kind of work out the situation, work out what the opposition least want. What did England want? They wanted Scott Boland to hit one in the air, or Baz ball it and smack one straight in the air, and he walks off with 3 or 4 boundaries, but he's only there for 20 minutes. Now, Scott Boland realised that time was so precious for Australia. Mitchell Starc realised that as well. Hang in, dig in, hit a few to the boundary when the fielders came up. It was brilliant from Australia. My worry for England is that you actually look at the facets of the game. And this week, there's been one player, Joe Root, that stood up with the bat. Not many others. The bowling's been poor. There's been the odd occasion when it was okay, but it's been really poor. The fielding's been really poor. Tactically, England weren't great, and mentally you look at a lot of these England players that are here for the first time under this scrutiny, with us all talking about them on a regular day-to-day basis. Ben Duckett looks a player that's just starting to just kind of look like he's not kind of in any kind of flow. Ollie Pope's a problem at 3. Harry Brook, there's a lot going through Harry's mind. Does he play ultra aggressive? He's had a lot of criticism. Does he just play? So there's a lot going through Harry's mind. There's the skipper. You know, skipper in a team in Australia is tough. And then you've got Jamie Smith, and inside the last 2 or 3 games, Jamie Smith has just started to have one of those moments in his Test career. He's only new to the game, but there's so many of the England players that I'm looking at that we can kind of point the finger at to say, I'm not too sure you're playing to your level. And I'll keep going on about this team have not prepared well enough for this team. Don't look at what India do. Don't look at what Australia do. Don't look at what past England teams have done. There's no way in a million years this England side has prepared right to play Australia in that first game in Perth, and they've certainly not prepared right to play against them in the Gabba with the pink ball.
Yeah, because it does feel, I mean, it drifted so badly today, didn't it? And I mean, you were one of the finest England captains ever. I mean, you must have looked at it and thought, I'm not saying that Stokes has some magic bullet in that situation. I know it's incredibly difficult, that job in the blazing hot sun when there's already a lead for the home team. But I mean, how did you see that passage of play when Starc and Boland just sucked the life out of England?
Yeah, it's hard. The only thing that I thought with Ben, he bowled really well with the old ball, and he gets Nisa. I'm thinking, take the new ball. Yeah, you're England's best bowler. Yeah. You know, just because you're the all-round in skipper, don't leave it. You know, someone needs to go and say to him, by the way, Ben, you're our best bowler, and you're probably the best chance of us getting 2 or 3 quick wickets. And if I was England, I'd actually let him open the ball in the next Test. I think he's that dangerous and that threatening. It's almost like he saves himself just in case. You know, I think he's too good a bowler at the minute, and he's bowling as well as any of the other quicks. And Then he started to spread the field, and look, it's not easy that when you're just trying to get to Boland and you're hoping Starks takes a single, and then Starkey played it really cleverly, and then Boland kept on getting a little one off the hip when they had him on strike. It is frustrating, but there was a few times that he'll look back and think, yeah, probably didn't get that quite right, but I just think Australia played better cricket. They've played stronger, better, more disciplined cricket, and England have just not been able to match them.
Yeah, it's well summed up, and the way Australia played the time game so well, all that experience, we see it every year, Vaughnie. They play these pink ball tests to absolute perfection, the way they were able to get a couple of caught and bowls, Michael Nisa, just when he needed a good spell. Yeah. We might come back to that in a hot spot in a moment. Like everything Australia wanted to get out of today, they've done, and it does mean that England are staring down the barrel of a 2-0 series deficit inside 6 days in the series. Why don't we at this point go into the hot spot? Vaughnie, the hot spot there are so many England batters who are struggling at the moment. I wonder how you would see Ollie Pope in particular at 3. I mean, we know what he's capable of. No one's doubting that at his best he's a test player. But I mean, at this particular juncture, he looks like he's in strife.
I think he's getting confused because I thought in Perth in the first innings he had his head over that off stump and he waited for the ball and he played some nice shots through the onside and he didn't go chasing. He's got to make a very, very quick decision. If he thinks he's going to survive in the test team chasing that channel on a regular basis and his head's going to go like that and he's not going to play with balance and he's going to try and plan the up, he's not going to be in this team for much longer. If he wants to stay in this side, you know, Jason Gillespie's just said something. Sachin Tendulkar got 100 many years ago at Sydney when he took away the drive and just stayed. Ollie Pope's going to have to take a leaf out of that kind of book, and it's very difficult to do so in a team that plays the expansive way because maybe that's not what the management want. Maybe they're saying, look, we want you to keep going to dash, but for him to stay as a test player in the England side beyond this series and next year and the year after, he's got to make a very, very quick call. I think he's got to stay with his head over off stump. He's got to have a very good kind of mindset of leaving the balls out here. If it's short and wide, of course. If it's really full, of course. But they're going to just channel him with length, pat the offside, play the cover, bring him in, bring him out, and just say to Ollie, there you go, there's a carrot, do you want to take it? I think he'll last very few more test matches if he continues to try and own that channel. He's got to stay upright and play like he did in the first innings at Perth.
A few from Michael Vaughan on the hot spot. Let's press fast forward. When you talk about, you know, the Botham 81 miracle and, you know, a couple of Ben Stokes miracles in there as well. You know, it feels like Mitchell Stark's actually the Ian Botham equivalent at the moment. He's top scored. He's taken 17 wickets in 3.5 innings and picked up Joe Root tonight with a lovely bit of bowling from round the wicket, getting it to tail away. Pressing fast forward, it feels slightly breathing, and I don't really know where they go from here, short of a miracle, and it really shouldn't be like that at this stage of the series. You shouldn't be relying on miracles on day 4 of the second test.
No, and I feel for them, and let's be honest, Colin, we've been here before, and we kind of know the result, and we've seen this movie before. And I look at this England side with so many of the players within it that will be struggling, and it's difficult, it's hard. I look at Adelaide, it's probably a chance for England because the pitch should be a good one for the style of play. But if they think they're going to carry on playing in this fashion with the bat in hand by being quite ultra aggressive, dare I say it, Glenn McGrath's prediction might come to roost. And that really worries me, that they're not a team that can adjust and adapt and just say to each other, look, if there's not someone in that dressing room going, eventually lads, can we just have a chat? Can we just sit down and have a chat? Because playing this expansive game has brought us all a great deal of joy. And I've actually loved it at times. There's been times against India where I thought this is brilliant because they're just learning and they're playing with a bit of smartness. I haven't seen that here. To think that they continuously drive Mitchell Stark, who continuously bowls that ball across them, and they continuously go like that with the big drive. They're not learning, and that's a real worry that this team is not adapting and it's not learning. And if they continue to play like they've played here in terms of their approach, dare I say it, Glenn McGrath might be correct.
There you go. Brilliant from Michael Vaughan as always. Crick Buzz Chatter, whatever happens tomorrow. Maybe it'll be 24 hours from now and Stokes will be...
Where's Bobby Willis? We need Bobby Willis running down the hill. There's not a hill here, though. There's problems.
Yeah, no Kirkstall Lane end either. Who knows? Cricket is odd like that. But in all probability, tomorrow we'll be wrapping up the coverage. Please be with us for it on Crick Buzz Chatter. Catch you then. Bye.